Now on Denver 7 News at 7 on Local 3, we're a step closer to feeling back to normal in Boulder County. The store reopening today, offering signs of hope to a community destroyed by the Marshall Fire.
The pandemic shined a light on youth mental health issues, and now there's a first of its kind program in Colorado to ease the burden on students and families.
And the clock is ticking. The roster has to shrink. We have a look at who's taking the field for the first regular season game for the Broncos and who will not be after their deadline to make the cuts this afternoon. Someone's got to go.
Already some cuts. Yeah. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. We're talking pumpkin spice lattes coming out at Starbucks, but 90-degree weather, Lisa.
All week long. That's why they invented the iced pumpkin spice latte, right? Because you can still enjoy it on a hot day like this. Beautiful out there right now, very bright, lots of sunshine. You're going to find dry conditions statewide today, and your out the door forecast pretty mild for the next couple of hours. By 9 o'clock, we're going to be at about 70 degrees, another 10 degrees warmer by 11, and then we're hitting highs in the low to mid 90s this afternoon. This will be at about 4 to 5 o'clock. Denver 93, Boulder 91, Parker you're at 88, low to mid 90s for Fort Collins and Greeley too. So get ready for a pretty warm and dry day. Very slight chance for an isolated storm or two across the southern mountains, but we'll see a better chance a little closer to Denver tomorrow. I'll show you that, and I'll show you how long this 90-degree streak is going to last, Jason, coming up on our Super 7 Day.
And I'm still tracking some overnight construction that's lingering over there into the west. Now, once CDOT gets to the holiday weekend, they're going to have all the construction on hold. This is over by the Evergreen Parkway. Take a look from the camera out that way, and you can still see some of the cones set up. One lane is open. Traffic slowed in there, not huge delays, but just something to be mindful of, especially with those folks that are out there still doing some work. Take a look at the drive that we have here across the eastbound side of I-70, 6th Avenue, and actually moving along just fine. Across downtown, most of the heavy stuff is from just before 58th getting into downtown Denver. There's nothing in there, just a heavy stop-and-go traffic mess for you. One crash out here to the east side of town, just south of DIA, Jackson Gap and 56. It was a head-on crash, so some people were seriously hurt in that wreck. Typical stuff in the DTC.
Well, it is a monumental day for a community still reeling from the Marshall Fire, where flames and smoke wiped out entire neighborhoods. But there are now signs of rebuilding in Superior, where people had to run through smoke and ash to escape a shopping center. Now they are finally able to return this morning. This was the ribbon cutting last night at the Target store.
Yeah, the Target at Superior Marketplace was one of 35 businesses that suffered damage or were destroyed by the fire. This map from Boulder County shows some of those stores. We highlighted the Target here. You can see it's very close to so many homes that burned down. For people who lost so much, today is a step toward getting back to normal. Denver 7's Christian Lopez is at the store where the doors are now open. And Christian, you're out there talking to people who say this is about a lot more than shopping.
Yeah, the store just opened its doors a few minutes ago, and there is a lot of excitement out here. We are with Erica Chapman from Superior. She is one of the first to arrive, and you are celebrating this with a tailgate party here with your community. How are you feeling this morning?
Pretty excited and very indebted to all those who've been working so hard to help the city come back together. I'm here because my friend Amanda saw on Facebook, the OO Facebook group, that Krista Hendrick had said, hey, people should come out and do a tailgate. And I have to run over to El Dorado later, but I thought it was worth coming out and having some coffee and sharing some smiles and all that good stuff. So
yeah, definitely. That's amazing. And let's show people the setup over here that you guys have. So what do we have over here?
Well, we've got watermelons I've ever had, to be honest. Sorry, some canned biscuits. But this is the Peach Palisade Jam my dad's wife made.
And there's a little bit of it on the parking lot thanks to me this morning.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I dropped it.
This is my Facebook connection, Amanda and her husband Jared. And yeah, and you know, it's just important, I think, to celebrate these milestones. And we're all actually new to the area. We moved in 2 years ago. Actually 2 years ago, like this month. And then when the fire happened, it was pretty devastating to everyone, obviously. And for some of us who maybe were a little less connected to begin with, it was pretty scary. but the rallying and the courage and the steadfastness, you know, all the things that drew us to Colorado in the first place, really came out, and it's been great to see the work done to rebuild.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. Again, a lot of excitement out here. This is so much more than just a store grand reopening. It is about bringing the community together and celebrating the progress that's been made 8 months after the fire happened. Nicole, I'm going to send it back over to you.
Yeah, big morning for them out there, Christian. It's great to see everyone having fun. I would definitely tailgate at a Target, by the way.
Yeah.
I think that looks like a fun time. All right.
Walk out with a basket full.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Denver will use nearly $2.5 million to boost foot traffic and retail and safety downtown. That money will be used over 18 months to invest in pop-up businesses, restaurants, other events, and design elements to prevent and reduce crime. The city says downtown pedestrian traffic in May was down 31% from May of 2019.
Well, the U.S. is preparing to roll out millions of new COVID booster shots ahead of a predicted resurgence this fall and winter. The FDA is expected to authorize both Pfizer and Moderna's new vaccines as soon as this week. Both target the newest Omicron subvariants, in addition to the original strain of the virus. Advisors to the CDC are set to meet Thursday and Friday of this week, and if both agencies give the go-ahead, doses could be shipped in the coming days and administered as soon as this weekend. Well, the problem is, though, will everyone get them? In Colorado, nearly 72% of residents have gotten 2 doses of the vaccine, but only 55% of Coloradans have gotten at least 1 booster shot. The numbers are even lower for kids. You can see here 38% of kids ages 5 to 11 have gotten the first 2-dose vaccine. 40% of Coloradans between 12 and 17 years old have received 2 doses plus a booster. Colorado Public Radio reports that there is a plan to make the new booster shots available to students in clinics based in Denver public schools. And they also plan to give out flu shots there.
In your international news this morning, as Ukraine mounts a counteroffensive to win back Russian-occupied regions, a United Nations team of inspectors are setting out on a crucial mission. Here's ABC's Justin Finch.
New Maxar satellite images showing a bird's eye view of some of the damage at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Now under Russian control, the site has been a flashpoint of fighting between Ukrainian and Russian forces, both blaming each other. The Pentagon asserting most of the shelling is coming from Russians. Watching from Washington, the White House is calling for a preemptive powering down of the site's nuclear reactors and for demilitarizing the area, calling that the safest and less risky option. That call coming as inspectors from the International Atomic Energy Agency prepare to assess the situation at Zaporizhzhia, Europe's largest nuclear power plant. A Ukrainian doctor telling ABC's Brett Clinton fears of another nuclear disaster are growing.
We worked with some people who were exposed after the Chernobyl. They still have tremendous health problems. It's of course frightening.
Ukraine's President Zelensky announcing a Russian counteroffensive in the south, saying Ukraine is returning its own, listing regions by name: Kharkiv, Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhzhia, Kherson, and Crimea. And to the Russians, the occupiers should know we will oust them to the border. As Ukraine fights for control of its country, Russian airstrikes continue, and new reports that President Putin is trying to ramp up the Russian military, aiming to add as many as 137,000 troops, eliminating the age limit to serve and even recruiting prisoners. Pentagon officials say Putin's effort is unlikely to succeed, noting Russia has lost between 60 and 80,000 soldiers in its war against Ukraine. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
Applications are now open to increase access to all that Colorado has to offer in the outdoors. The state's Equity Grant Program will distribute over $1 million this fall to groups working with underserved communities. The grant program director says many people don't have the transportation or the gear that is often required to enjoy Colorado's outdoors. This program helps break down some of those barriers.
It doesn't have to be go out and climbing a 14er, going skiing. It can be something on the playground or in the community garden in your neighborhood. So we really encourage organizations to define what outdoor access means to them and bring that to the Outdoor Equity Grant Board to show them that this is going to be really impactful.
Yeah, applications are open through September 30th.
Thank you for showing us what it means to come back. Thank you for changing the face of the game, whatever you do next.
A familiar voice there, just one of so many cheering on Serena Williams as she moves forward in her last professional tennis competition. We'll have more of the tributes pouring in.
Plus, are you ready for fall? If you're not doing this, why one man is trying to make history with a pumpkin boat on the Missouri River.